Welcome back. Today, we'll be following a cat in Fragile Dreams.
The scariest of games. Actually, it's not really a horror game, really. It's just an action RPG.
Yeah.
I don't know why my brain didn't process that until now. Besides the fact that I'm an idiot.
It tries to sell itself off as horror a little bit. Certainly there are parts in it that are creepy, like that painting. I'm so glad we're leaving the hotel just because of that. But to be honest, the hotel is probably my favorite area in the game.
Even though it made you backtrack twice.
That was Chio's fault. Well, it's a lot better than what we're going to be doing for the next two parts, I'm going to tell you that much.
Oh boy.
Because I don't know, this cat is leading us to our doom, I'm just telling you that.
Oh, I know that much already.
What's it saying?
You told me about this. I'm just wondering if you're exaggerating.
Figures.
I was,
It's probably looking for
but it
death.
was not that much exaggerated.
That girl. She was here. Look.
You can make out these scribbles? Talk about obsessed.
She might be down there. We have to go in.
Whoa! Not so fast! You don't even know what's down there!
I do.
Oh, what's the point? I can't stop you. Just be careful, okay?
So I wonder if ghosts can hurt other ghosts, because she always hides from the ghosts.
I don't know.
Even though she is a ghost.
Nothing. I'm just happy. That's all.
Either that or they just remove her model during combats because they really don't want the Wii to have to process too many things at once.
Might be, but the enemy ghosts, when they attack each other, or attack near each other, there is no friendly fire, so their attacks just phase through.
The more you know.
Yep. So,
This hall seems like it goes on forever. So don't push yourself. Let's stop at a bonfire.
well, she spoiled it. This is the Hall of Forever. It's not actually named this, I believe it's called the Long Hallway. And it's one reason why I didn't want to LP this game.
But you did it anyway.
Yep. So, got anything to talk about, Geek?
I was actually going to say, to talk seriously for once, I actually am kind of surprised that this game is a lot better than I thought it would be. That it's, I kind of like the atmosphere, even though there isn't any horror to be found.
Yeah.
The design of the levels and the side stories are really cool, too.
Mm-hmm. So there
But I am...
Well, okay, I'm sorry for interrupting you, but there are actually ghosts in here. A few of them. So, yeah. You can finish your thought now.
But if there's one thing in this game that I'm kind of dreading, it's you said that they explain what the unnamed events that made everyone either die or disappear is.
Mm-hmm.
And something tells me, and I'm just kind of really hoping it won't be stupid. Because sometimes these kinds of things are better unexplained.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's kind of part of the game, is figuring out what happened. I mean, that's not your clear objective. Your clear objective right now is to find the girl. Because she's one of the few humans you've seen that are actually, still alive, apparently.
And there is something lurking.
So
They're sinking cities with giant worms.
450 meters to go. Our progress is a little bit halted by the ghosts. Mainly these ones, since they actually... Patience ghosts. Alright. There's two here. Well, that's not too bad. It is a narrow corridor, though, so you gotta be careful. Also, fuck you, game. There are 3 ghosts here, in a narrow corridor.
Because as we all know that narrow corridors are the best game design. If Jak 2 taught me anything, the only way to make narrow corridors better is to replace the walls with death.
Well, technically, this place does have death written on the walls.
True.
There we have little warnings that we can see with our special flashlight written by somebody. I like that flavor text. It kind of tenses up the atmosphere even though it's not...
Scary.
Yeah. But like I said, this is a narrow corridor and I am getting pretty low on health.
The best level design.
Mainly, the problem is that I brought a weapon that's good for AoE, but not good for single-target attacking like this. It's fine for it, but it's...
You kind of almost died there.
Yeah. Well, we have another 450 meters to go. Hopefully I won't die. I won't be backtracking to go to a save point and rest up. I didn't bring any healing items either. So I'm clearly... either boned and the best of preparing. Yes. Seto is very tired. So now that we have a bit of a stretch here, why don't we talk a little bit about the statistics that I was spouting off earlier in earlier videos. Not the statistics of, like, who's alive and who's dead, but the list of people that we know. We know the old man. We never met him in-game, but he's dead. The white-haired girl, we don't know if she's alive, but we can kind of assume that.
She could just be a very corporeal ghost.
Very possible. We don't know that yet. So, and Seto's an optimistic thinker, so let's just think that she's alive for right now.
Okay.
And, personal frame is dead, quotation marks. I guess. So that's 2 of 3.
There's a drawing of a tree hag monster.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what this was exactly. I don't know, I thought maybe you would have, but you would have some thoughts on that. I'm not completely sure, though.
It just looks like a tree crossed with an old woman. 300
meters to go. Thankfully, there is one save point here. They thought you would be low on health after fighting those 3 enemies in a very narrow corridor.
And they would be right.
Yeah.
Is this?
So anyway, 2 of the 3 people we know are dead.
Okay, and then we have...
One of them might be alive.
Yes, and then we know the merchant, who is right here, and he's alive.
Where should we start? Well then, this is goodbye.
Granted, we don't know much about him, but apparently he is...
Other than he's a creepy man who is really good at turning that mascot head without the rest of his body.
Mm-hmm. And then we know the little girl who was the ghost of that in the first part, the memories, the second part actually.
See, she was very obviously dead.
Yes. And then there is Crow, who we assume is still alive. And
I like to imagine he was eaten by a jellyfish very shortly after meeting Seto.
Then we have Sai, who is dead, but I guess she's kind of with us, so I don't know if she classifies as being dead. Her body is dead, but she's still here.
See, then there's that old woman who's going to die very soon, so we can probably just go ahead and assume that she's a goner.
She's not mentioned, mentioned later on, so I'll just spoil it. Yeah, she's dead, pretty much. So that is 5 out of 8 people that we've met are either dead or a robot. Also, there are ghost birds in here, but this one's stuck on something, so I guess we'll just leave him alone and read this message. And apparently we're all dead. Just like Seto, just like everyone Seto meets, pretty much.
Seto's like the karmic Kenshiro. Like, he meets someone, they're already dead.
Yes! This is why I brought along the broom. Oh, only 100... Ah! Fuck you! So, fleeing from the angry birds.
If only there were pigs for them to destroy.
Seto happens across a rather strange drawing here. Let's take a look at this.
It looks kind of like a deer that's about to kick you in the face.
It's actually a horse that has been beheaded.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
That's kind of cryptic. I wonder what that's supposed to mean. Well, let's read this message on the wall and find out. Oh. Oh, that's great.
So we will die because of headless horses. Good to know.
Well, this is kind of a non sequitur considering what the next enemy is.
If the ID cannot be confirmed, you will be removed.
Robots.
Yep.
Yes.
I don't know what that has to do with headless horses, but alright. So, a new enemy.
I like to imagine that this thing is just a trash bin. Because, I mean, honestly, look at it, and it just looks like a trash can. On
It
legs.
does. However, this is actually a pretty difficult enemy. There aren't many of these yet. There will be more. But the main problem with this enemy is his dash attack towards you. It's very hard. He doesn't telegraph it, really. You don't have enough time to get out of the way. The thrust attack he has isn't too bad, though. You can usually dodge that one if you're smart.
Or paying attention.
Yeah.
Or alive, or have reflexes.
Yeah, but he doesn't telegraph his other one. But oh well.
So basically,
First
the strategy
robot.
for that. The strategy for that.
I'm gonna interrupt you here. So, we have die, and please watch your step. So be careful, but die on the way. Now, Geek, we have a ladder sequence here. What does that remind you of?
There's so many ladder sequences.
So, why don't we have a little bit of a race with Snake?
Please tell me it's going to play Snake Eater.
Yep. Well, the ladder sequence, the Snake Eater, anyway. Well, I guess in terms of length, Snake's is much bigger because he climbs a lot faster. I mean, Seto is fucking slow as hell.
But then Seto is not Big Boss, so...
Yes. He's not ripped.
He can't hold up tanks that should sink into the ground because of their sheer enormity.
Ah, Peace Walker.
Seto can't hunt no Rathlos.
He'll get pretty close.
Fighting dragons with brooms.
Now, I'll give
Go, Snake, go.
I'll give Metal Gear Solid 3 some credit here because this sequence is very boring in Fragile Dreams because there is no music, there's just that ambiance of the wind and the tunnel noise.
As in Metal Gear Solid 3, it had no points, but at least it was kind of funny. Just because all of a sudden it starts playing a theme song.
And there's nothing at the top of the ladder. If you noticed, I did reverse the clip, so Snake is going down instead of up. Just because I thought that would be better than... yeah. About the same, though. Well, let's see here. Seto's almost reached the bottom. So, 1 minute and 40 seconds for Fragile Dreams. And 1 minute and 46 seconds. 47, pretty much. So, Fragile Dreams
Fragile
ladder
Dreams is
sequence?
the winner.
Yes.
And so we have to keep playing it.
Yes. Well, Snake Eater still has the longest ladder sequence.
Of any game so
Yep.
far.
Fragile Dreams got close, though. You gotta give it some credit. By credit, I mean, well, I don't know what to say here.
Well, it's different from Snake Eater. You held backwards for 1 minute and 40 instead of up.
Yes.
Gotta have some variety.
So we are now in the sewers, my friend. And we'll be here for quite a while.
Sewer levels, everyone's favorite.
Yeah. We go from a beautiful hotel environment where nature was kind of taken back, and now we're in a kind of a collapsing sewer type of level. That's pretty great.
This actually looks kind of like this train track sequence from Half-Life 1.
I've only seen the beginning of Half-Life 1. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about?
Yeah. Well, no, not the beginning. There's a sequence later where you actually have to get on a tram and navigate through tunnels like this.
So there's quite a bit of tunnels here, and
There's gotta be a map around here. Be sure to read it carefully. I don't want to get
shut up,
lost.
Si. Most of the level will be, most of this part will be exploring all the tunnels, because there is some
Until
goodies.
Seto makes his own map.
Yep. See, there's a map over here. You can read it. I wish Seto would copy this down, but he doesn't.
Because he's kind of a moron.
Yep. So, here's the problem I was mentioning earlier, is that you have to hover over every little thing to find out every room. They didn't translate this. I wish they did, because it would be a lot easier to navigate.
Yep. So I don't know about you, but I've been paying attention and I have no idea how we're supposed to know where to go.
Yep,
We're just in a sewer.
that's right. There are no clues. You just have to wander around until you find the way out.
That's some good game design.
It is a labyrinth, I guess. Well, we can see that one of these areas leads to a dead end, so why don't we check out that one first? Maybe we can find a goodie. But when I was recording this, I didn't see this cat, and I thought something was sneaking up on me, and kind of made me a little bit paranoid. Like, I saw him at the very bottom of the screen, but I only saw, like, the top part of him, so I saw something moving there, and I was like, oh, what was
Cats, the ultimate jump scare.
that? Yeah, closest this game's gonna get.
Better warm up.
Thankfully, the merchant is still down here.
The pleasure is mine.
Let's see what he's got.
What
for
if
sale.
he's really already dead? And we just don't know it yet.
Interesting theory. Here's a new type of weapon, though.
Let me guess, two-handed melee.
Nope. One-handed. It's just heavyweight. Seto has a very hard time wielding these things. I'll be showing that off because I'll be using it right after we stop buying stuff. I did buy a pole from him since that is the next
Well then, this
sweeping
is
weapon.
Goodbye.
Staff weapon, I guess
Yeah.
is what they call it.
Yeah, that's right. Heavy weapons are pretty nice, but they're... Seto's not very strong with them. They're not as fast at swinging as, like, the swords and the broom, and...
And that doesn't look like it has as much of an area of effect, so...
Yeah, it has very low reach. And that's kind of a problem in this area, because there is an enemy here that is pretty annoying. And here he is. Now here, take a look at this. Why didn't that hit him? Why didn't that hit him? Yeah, well, it's not the hammer's fault entirely. It's mainly because this guy has, you can't hit his legs, or you have to, like, pretty much walk into him to hurt him. So the hit detection on this enemy is complete garbage.
Looks kind of like a hybrid of a Resident Evil boss and those guys from the last level of Gungrave.
Oh, yeah. Good point. They are actually holding signs. I don't know what they say, though. Mainly because it's in Japanese. I tried looking up their enemy name, too, but I couldn't find any information on that. So, I guess we should make up our own name.
I got nothing.
How about fucking assholes? Because later on, these guys come in hordes.
Broken hit detection? I know, let's call him a Tigrix.
You and your Monster Hunter.
Me and my Monster Hunter.
Achoo!
There was a memory item there that I
sick.
passed by, but I found it. I'm not going to show that off in this, but the spider guys, the sign spiders, I guess we can call them that.
I guess.
The sign spiders, they usually drop energy drinks, which are pretty good healing items. They only take up 1 space, so pretty nice. And they heal 250 HP. Quite a bit.
I'm sure I mentioned this before, but I always loved video game logic. Just, oh, let's say you got this gaping sword wound, it's bleeding all over the place, a punctured lung, and you're on fire. Just pop a 5-hour energy, you'll be fine.
Hitman. Have you ever played any of those games? They use painkillers. Actually, I'd say Gun for the PS2 is probably the worst because your healing item is a bottle of whiskey.
Ah, what's that? I got Swiss cheese? Well, I may just take a swig here. I just like to imagine the character, and then he just takes a drink, and all the whiskey just pours out of all the gun wounds.
So, more long hallways. Best episode.
Yep.
Best game design I've seen. That leads out to that hub area again, so let's continue on.
But first, enemies.
Yep, more pink jellyfish. Needless to say, the hammer is decent at taking out these guys. Not as good as the staff, but staff weapons. But it's
And
alright.
you still can't one-hit kill them.
The hammer...
It's like the game developers are just trying to waste your time.
Kind of. There is that one attack that I just used, the one where you don't hold the button all the way to do the area of effects. The one where you just kind of press A for a couple seconds, and you do like an overhand swing at them. That does the most damaging move in the game, I believe. That one. It still doesn't kill these in one hit, though. I believe the jellyfish have about 500 HP.
Because why wouldn't they?
It is kind of fun to just kind of mess with them, though. Oh, you're floating down? Nope, just kidding.
Squish. I love the range on this thing.
Yes, it's pretty bad. Time for organizing my inventory. Now I'm full.
4 of them, really?
Yep. Maybe this is a sign that we need to level up? Because there might be a hard boss ahead? It's not. The next boss is complete. It's very easy. But that won't be till the next part. They didn't even have the courtesy of giving you a boss in the sewer level.
But they do have these enemies, and what's more great than these guys?
The mallet, or the hammer, is very good at taking out these enemies, but not as good as the sword or the 2-slot green weapons. Like the iron pipe and golf club. Because you can hit them multiple times. While this only has a 1 combo attack. Still does the most amount of damage overall, though, with its overhand swing. It is pretty satisfying to beat the shit out of these things with this, though.
I see.
The jellyfish drop large crystals, so if you're in the need of money, go for it. And that item that we missed is another mallet, so I didn't have to buy one, but they're pretty cheap, so who cares?
Plus, you get so much money, evidently, so...
Yeah. I would be low on money if I was buying the permanent health upgrades, but I'm not.
Evidently, you don't need to.
I played this game before.
Maybe it's something you'd think you need if it was your first time playing it.
Once you learn the bosses, they're very easy, but... I mean, it's kind of like Metal Gear in that way, where the bosses are kind of difficult if you don't know how to fight them effectively. Like, if I fought the tree boss with a melee weapon, I would have gotten pretty messed up. And it's not like you can leave the room and go get a new weapon. If you didn't bring the bow with you.
Because, for some reason, boss rooms must always automatically lock doors. Because the tree is made of evil.
It doesn't lock doors, but once you get into combat with something, you can't interact with items.
Which would include doors.
Yes. You also can't break crates. This is another memory item here. And of course, since we're going for 100%, we have to get all the memory items.
Yep.
The memory items are pretty good, though. Well, can't pick up that. Oh well. Some of the drawings kind of freak me out sometimes, like this one. I know it's just a bunch of drawings of a girl, but there's just so many of them. It's like they're all looking into you, into your soul. Metaphoric soul, of course, but...
You think they're looking in...
Oh, hi.
You think they're... Are you sure they're looking at you and not at Sai, who kind of is a soul? Who's just floating around?
Kind of. See, once you hit these guys, they teleport or run away. And we'll try to range attack you with their fireball thing. Their fireball thing isn't so bad here, but later on when we get, I don't know, groups of, 6 or 7 of them, and you can't keep track of all their fireballs, and all their fireballs start to home in on you, fucking bullshit. Sorry, these enemies really... I really hate these enemies when there's a lot of them. And...
It's kind of how it is with every game.
Yeah, the jellyfish are pretty nice though, I gotta say. They're fun to kill. Just there's quite a lot of them. And why not
sit down.
empty our inventory while we're here? Because we need more money.
Hey, could this be...
More pointless stuff?
Nope.
Huh.
We got emergency kits from the crying ladies.
Is it just me, or is that less effective than the energy drink?
Yes, I believe so.
And they also take up 2 spaces, I'm guessing?
3.
So, why would you ever want those unless you just had inventory space you didn't need?
I don't know. I switched weapons to the pole because I need to show off all the weapons, I guess. They both teleported back here, and here we can see how the bolts home in on you. You can usually dodge them by strafing, though. I don't believe you can actually break them with your weapon like that showed there, though. But once you kill the enemy, their bolt disappears.
I was gonna say, so does that mean you didn't kill that one? Evidently it is so.
Apparently we're below a lot of important public offices and stuff. Probably somewhere in the heart of Tokyo. By the way, you wouldn't happen to know if sewer systems really are this big, right?
I don't think it's even a sewer system, it's... I don't know what it is.
Oh, hi. More of you.
It's an underground level.
Yep. These are the most difficult enemies. Except for when I suck at hitting them. The pole is a pretty nice weapon, though. It does quite a bit of damage.
When you can actually hit things with it.
That's pretty long reach, but my depth perception when I play this game is a little bit off. Oh, come on. Just open up your back so we can get this over with. Thank you,
Look,
baby.
just open up your backside and I'm going to shove this pole into it.
And that's that. Let's take a look at some of this stuff. They didn't translate this on the wall here, so if somebody knows Japanese and want to leave a comment, that'd be cool. But on the ground here, we have a whole bunch of drawings, presumably from the white-haired girl, I would guess.
And I think that drum thing is a cameo from some Namco franchise that I don't know what it's called.
I don't know.
Something Depawn, maybe?
I don't know. But it looks like a soda can that has legs and hands, pretty much. But that's what I think. There's also a pumpkin there, a pumpkin thing, and some little king or prince or whatever on the ground. And here we get the weirdest hopscotch thing I've ever seen. It goes along the walls.
So, hopscotch for either Spider-Man or somebody who's practicing parkour.
Yes.
What do you think?
My book goes towards ninjas. Jellyfish. Actually, it's for the jellyfish. Oh, you know what it is?
What?
It's like the police investigations where they chalk the outlines, but they're for jellyfish.
Makes sense.
All these circles.
With how many you've killed by this point.
Yeah.
It's like, jeez. This kind of reminds me how an
Seto,
Ico...
did you kill those jellyfish? What does it remind you of?
Kind of reminds me how in Ico, they're the shadow dudes who are constantly trying to take Yorda, but you just beat them back with a stick time and time again. You're like, your army is getting beaten up by a small child with a stick. Give up and go home. That's what this is reminding me of. It's like...
Well, it's not like the ghosts are actively trying to get Seto.
I know, because actually it makes more sense here, because they're just like, oh look, someone who's alive, let's solve that. They don't really seem to have minds. They're just kind of things that stab and kill and float around and die horribly to sticks.
Well, we've seen ghosts that are friendly, like Chio and Sai. The little girl. Stuff like that. So not all ghosts are the same, but I guess people with more personality are the ones. I don't know how it works in Fragile Dreams Land. It's not explained. I am showing off the dead ends, because usually there is something here. Might not be an item, but might be a little Easter egg thingy, or some drawings. And here we see... I don't know what this is.
It looks like they're trying to... No, I got nothing.
There's only circles in that.
I was going to say, judging by these, they look like they were playing tic-tac-toe, but then that last one at the end of the hallway was just like...
Triangles,
circle,
too.
triangle, dash. It's like, did they invent 3-player tic-tac-toe?
Oh, I know what it is. They're playing tic-tac-toe, but in Sony style. Because it had triangles.
That's what I was thinking too, but they would need squares as well. I saw no squares.
Oh, good point. And this is the way out of the sewers.
Tunnel, whatever they are.
We're going.
I don't think anyone cares.
Yep, we're going.
It's an underground level that has nothing in it but narrow corridors.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well be a sewer level.
And that's the weirdest giraffe I've ever seen. But continuing on.
It's like the ghost of Personal Frame just shows up. That is the scariest giraffe I've ever seen. I am scared of this person. Why can I not draw for shit?
Well, PF would probably insult the white-haired girl. But she's in a better place, under a pile of rubble.
In the middle of nowhere.
Wow.
Below a theme park. So it looks like this area has a caved-in place, and in this room I would be kind of hesitant to step in here, but Seto's a daredevil. He doesn't take shit from anything. And what the hell is that?
Looks like a cat.
Ding ding ding. You are correct, sir.
Why are cats the only things that don't try to kill Seto on sight?
Because cats are the only good animals.
Hey, it's that cat from before. What's he
I would have thought
doing
that
here?
Red Dead Redemption taught you different, Dith.
He's looking at us. Cute little guy. Let's see if I can
Mountain
get him to
lions
come
are
here.
not cats.
They're felines, aren't they?
Yes, but they're not domestic cats. So, this is a required thing in the game. You have to play with a cat. This is the only time it is required.
The way to a cat's heart is with cat toys.
Actually, with cat food, but alright.
So basically you were completely lying when you said the cat toy had no use in the game.
Yes, I was, actually. This is the only point where it does, though. So, let's play with this cat. Gotta move my weapon icon. There we go. Come here. Also, Sai, get out of my way of my camera. Allow that cat to phase through the railway. And now we're best friends with this white-haired cat.
Or maybe it's silver-haired.
Could be.
So Seto couldn't find the courage to walk through a door until he played with a cat.
That's right. And this is the best place ever.
Here's a fun fact. Domestic cats can sometimes get
Where
curious
did
and
you
eat
run
their
off to?
owners.
You had me worried. You know it's dangerous to wander off too far. You.
Who are you again? Oh, right!
Why are you in a cage?
And this is why we needed to become friends with this cat.
I know you. The boy who touched me.
It
Allow
wasn't
me to
like
call
that.
the police.
I only meant to...
I know you're not a bad person. I can tell. Because he likes you.
That's a relief. And hey, I'm
Well,
sorry.
cats also
about
like
before.
Dr. Evil,
Your name?
or whatever his name was from,
Your name,
what was it?
please?
Austin Powers.
Oh, my name. I'm
I think it was
my name
Dr.
is
Evil.
Seto.
Seto?
Yeah,
That's a short name. Seto.
Thanks for telling us your name, by the way.
and
I missed it, did
what
she?
about you?
No.
Oh.
What's your...
Glass cage will commence shortly.
Oh, a voice.
What's
eh?
he? Shin.
Return at once.
Glass cage. Otacon, what's that?
It's pretty relevant, actually. But yeah, apparently there is somebody else